about evolution in two worlds. Let me bring the title up so you can all see that. Chapter 11, Emotional Conduct, and Chapter 12, Differentiation between the Sexes. But first, I'd like to go over the fact that Spiritism was actually codified by Allan Kardec in the 1850s. And if you'd like to learn more about Spiritism, I suggest you read this book, The Spirit's Book. You can just type in Allan Kardec space PDF, and you can find all his books free on PDF. You can also find them, of course, other places, Amazon. You can go to my website, my blog site, nwspiritism.com. You can click on his picture on the upper right-hand corner, and it will take you to the FEB bookstore, where you can buy his books and other books by Spiritist authors. So let's get started with Evolution in Two Worlds. Chapter 11 is Emotional Conduct. And the question they put here is, what does emotional conduct among high-order souls entail? And the answer is, the higher the degree of the soul's perfection, the more it will eagerly demand from itself the discipline needed regarding the energies pertaining to the realm of the emotions, releasing them only in the energy circuit in which it completes itself with its soul partner, or in ennobling service, through which it releases the magnetic charges of its sexual energy. So instead of sexual energy being part of wanting yourself pleasure, you get that by releasing your energies in fact, where you want to do service for people. You re-guide, you re-channel that energy, transferring them to the endeavor upon which its sensitivity and intelligence are projected. This occurs on the physical plane among those whose psychical system has been sufficiently distanced from the lower emotions, with the kindred souls that have wed each other, adjusted to each other in an ideal fluidic completion. Whenever a physical marriage in the corporeal realm is broken by death, the deceased partner dedicated to his or her inner sublimation nearly always associates with the surviving widow or widower in constructive symbiosis of activity, whether by assisting with the children, who still need such help, or by assisting with spiritually constructive endeavors, because spirits who truly love each other do not know the meaning of abandonment or neglect. Mindful of the same principle of self-purification, those who intermarriage on the spirit plane exchange their individual energies in a continuous and energetic circuit through which they attend to wonderful works of charity in the mental creations of endeavors necessary for common progress, immersed as they are in the lasting bliss that sublime love confers on them. And if the companion with whom they combine the highest ideals of perfection and beauty is missing, they mobilize their own creative magnetic energy to serve society. Thus, they climb the ladder of moral sublimation more swiftly, or, as is more often the case, they try to forget their own chances to climb higher and ask for modest, humble positions close to whom they are devoted in order to assist them in carrying out the task assigned to them, or to pay off the debts that still burden them before the law. So what they're telling us is the energy we have, which we all have as humans on Earth, we kind of move that desirous energy to other things, and we find satisfaction in those. And in the spirit world, that really gets away, and we find satisfaction and love and our dedication in service to others. And the same thing, you can say the same thing happens when people ask me about eating. I go, well, as you go in the spirit world, you don't really need to eat anymore, and you actually don't even need to sleep. And people love to eat and sleep. I know sleep is one of my favorite things. And again, it's just like a kid. You have one toy, and you play with that toy for a week, but then you go to the next toy. And it will be the same thing with all these other kind of our comfort, our comfort zone in the physical is, eat, sleep, and the other thing. But those will be replaced by something more magnificent. Now, the next section is differentiation between the sexes. What caused the differentiation between the sexes? And the answer is In the beginning of the planet's formation, a spiritual principle brought in its own constitution a condition we would call an energy content, which expressed predominantly active or passive characteristics. Knowing that the higher intelligence have sustained evolution in an upward movement ever since the very first hours of sexual reproduction, the formation of the male and female organs started under their direction, culminating morphologically in the reproductive organs of today's man and women. However, we must not forget that the evolutionary endeavor of perfecting terrestrial humankind's physiology has not yet ended, but has continued as is natural in space and time. And this has been telling us by other spiritist writers. If we think we're going to look like we are as humans and we come back and reincarnate over and over again for thousands and thousands of years and eons, no, we will evolve into something else. In fact, they tell us the races will start to disappear. They'll become something else. So don't get too comfortable with who you are and what you look like and your kind of your culture and race. All that will disappear. It will all be something different. Remember, we're immortal souls. We look how we want to look like in the spirit world, and then we come here. We are in a temporary body. That's all it is, and we're in a temporary body to improve ourselves. I'll carry on. As for the loss of the sexual characteristics, we have been informed that it will occur spontaneously when human souls will have assimilated all the experiences necessary for their sublimation, proceeding, after millennia of striving for perfection, to the angelic state, in which the individual will retain all the noble characteristics inherent to masculinity and femininity, reflecting in the advanced degrees of perfection of the divine glory of the Creator. Now I've read in another area, where this is in the books by Chico, and it's in my book 2, The Spirits and Spirit Universe. Let me bring that up so you can see that. And they talked about why were we divided in the two sexes. And it actually is and they talk about, as I just read, active and passive. And it was actually like a heuristic. A heuristic is a way to solve problems by breaking problems into smaller problems. And each spirit at some day will get so high that you combine all the male and female characteristics. The female characteristics of active and passive, and the male characteristics of what active and passive means. Well, they divided us in two sections. So we could learn as we go. So you come back on Earth, you can come back as male or female. And then if you're a male married to a female, you know you're active and passive, but then you also are able to explore their active and passive and vice versa. And sometimes you may be in a different sex, and then you explore that in a more intimate manner. So that was all about that. So pure spirit, like Christ, combines all that. That's why people say, and even with NDEs, they go, well, it's like he combined everything into one. He was just beautiful, and he loved me. And I could feel the empathy, but you could still see he was just, he was like the prince of his domain. And that's because he combined everything into one person. That's someday we shall be in the same state. Okay. It is imperative to realize, however, that at our evolutionary level, we cannot yet formulate any concrete thought regarding the nature and attributes of angels, nor can we fathom anything about their relationships with one another. So that was just pretty quick today. Those were the 2 chapters. And I hope you visit me on Tuesday. I'm talking about the book there. And I'm going through, it's a really good book. And it's a wander in the spirit land. And then after that, I think I'm going to do Through the Mist, which is another book by a spirit who died in the late 19th century. So it's a lot of excitement here that we're going to have as we carry on. So anyway, I want to say, everyone, good night and God bless.